Brock Blazchuk.
The Canadian Armed Forces is the only employer in Canada that has unlimited liability to its employees. That basically means that they could knowingly put somebody in danger at the risk for their job. You know, I could have somebody from my higher chain command going, "Hey Brock, we got this thing happening, we need you to go do it. You're probably definitely going to go die, but I need you to do it." And with me being unlimited liability, it's, yeah, no problem, I'll go do it.
It'd actually be illegal, I guess, to say it.
It is. And any other occupation, including police officer, firefighter, and everything like that, military is the only one that's not. You're not allowed to say no.
Brock went to Afghanistan in 2010 as a member of Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry, where they would embed themselves directly in a local Afghan village. Fighting was fierce, and unfortunately for Brock, near the end of his tour, tragedy would strike.
We were on a foot patrol, and we were checking for these IEDs, and we're looking for wires popping out the wall, and I kind of spot this guy who I presumed was a farmer at the time. I waved at him, he waved at me, and I took a step over my left foot, and feeling my foot sink, hearing a click, kind of quickly going shit in my head, and then closing my eyes and flying through the air. And then after I kind of like opened my eyes, landed back on the ground, did a couple tumbles, and yeah, I ended up trying to stand up. I couldn't stand up. Kind of realized I was a little more messed up than I thought I was.
Brock had stepped on a Taliban IED and was in critical condition, and would have to be flown to Germany and then on to Canada to receive life-saving care.
From that point, as they kept me sedated, I went from Kandahar to Bagram, and then from Bagram to Frankfurt, where I flatlined like 4 times. Frankfurt to Scotland, we had to do an emergency landing to Scotland. From Scotland, we had to fly to Newfoundland. We ended up flying to Goose Bay because the auxiliary power on the plane went out, good old Canadian Forces equipment, and I was living off of battery power. And then I went from Goose Bay to Edmonton.
Did you think that you were going to die at any point?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Terrifying.
In Edmonton, Brock received life-saving surgery, but his leg, unfortunately, was lost. His military career had come to an abrupt end, and he was left in the hands of Veteran Affairs Canada, or VAC, for care and compensation. It quickly became apparent, however, that although he had suffered such horrific injuries in combat, Brock's fight was far from over. Only this time, instead of fighting the Taliban, he would be fighting the government that was supposed to have his back.
After the First World War, the government of the day set up a means of trying to compensate people who had been wounded or lost limbs during the war. But what did the system consist of? It consisted of trying to find out who was trying to game the system. That was the system. And to a certain extent, it still is. Do you have PTSD? Oh yeah, well, where did you get it? I know you're in Afghanistan, but you know, 9 out of 10 people who went to Afghanistan came home and they were okay, so how come you aren't? So that you're a hero when you go over there, and if you die over there, the highway of heroes, you know, down to 401 from Trenton to Toronto. But if you went over there and you came back and you were dead, well then maybe you're just somebody trying to game the system.
I just literally got a letter a month ago, Veterans Affairs finally accepting that my disabilities are permanent.
A month ago.
A month ago. And I lost my leg in 2010.
The response that I've got from all these interviews is it seems really hit or miss. Like it seems like some people it works out for them, and I mean, I don't know how it works. I don't know if it's like you get a good case officer and things happen. If you don't, you get screwed. Or
it is hit or miss. I've heard of people that have had no problems. You know, they put in a claim gets processed, they get their claim paid out. I'm not one of those people. Most aren't. For most, it's fight, 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 hoping that you'll give up, and then you just keep fighting. And because of that, there's more people that never put in a claim because they hear stories of people fighting for years and years and years.
I mean, why don't we just open the wallet to people who are over there and say, Yeah, thank you very much for doing what you did for us. We're going to compensate you for what you did. No. It's a matter of, well, you know, come on, Jones, did you really? Did this really happen to you? Are you really sick? Do we really owe you something? That's the way the system is today.
We owe it to them to take care of them. We owe it to them to do a lot more than we're currently doing. We have 7,000 veterans estimated to be living on the streets. That's a shocking condemnation of how our country takes care of its veterans.
My name is Brock Blaschuk. I'm a retired corporal with the Patricia Canadian Light Infantry out of here in Edmonton, 1st Battalion. As you can see, I've lost my left leg. Back in August 24th, 2015, you made the promise no veteran will be forced to fight their own government for the support and compensation they have earned. Yet you are still currently in a legal battle with veterans regarding equal support and compensation to their peers. So my question is to you, Mr. Prime Minister, what veterans were you talking about?
I was just tired of government after government after government just using us as political pawns. You know, using us as photo ops, saying you had our back, and then you just been feeding us shit.
You have ISIL or ISIS members coming into a reintegration program. You did a backdoor deal with Omar Khadr with not even stepping into the courtroom. You know, so again, my question is, what veterans were you talking about? Was it the ones that fought for the freedoms and values that you so proudly boast about, or was it the ones who fought against? Because honestly, Mr. Prime Minister, I was prepared to be injured in the line of duty when I joined the military. Nobody forced me to join the military. I was prepared to be killed in action. What I wasn't prepared for, Mr. Prime Minister, is Canada turning its back on me.
Thank you for your passion and your strength and being here today to share this justifiable frustration and anger. First of all, why are we still fighting against certain veterans groups in court? Because they are asking for more than we are able to give right now.
How can the Prime Minister look at an injured vet like he did in Edmonton and say you're asking for more than we can provide, and then send $40 billion to some other country for some pet project of his? What the hell is that? That's a direct slap in the face to the troops.
We give everything away. We say no to the people that have the injury. Then we have people like the Prime Minister tell somebody like Brock that he's asking too much when he's talking about the fact that his legs were blown off of his body, that he's asking too much for help.
I mean, how does it feel? You signed up, went over, signed that kind of unlimited liability waiver, got wounded in action defending your country, the interests of the country, came back here wounded, an amputee, have to fight for the government to even recognize that you're permanently injured, fight for every scrap and benefit. And meanwhile, a convicted terrorist from the same conflict got a 10 million plus payout and is living in the same city as you are, buying strip malls.
It's a kick to the dick, I'm not going to lie. You know, but that has been the true tragedy of Afghanistan, I think. You know, I think with a lot of veterans, you know, it's not only the fact that a convicted terrorist got $10 million, it's the fact that we also lost our war. It's the fact that we promised all these people, you know, a better life. We promised little girls to go back to school, you know, and to this day, the people that we promised, like interpreters and stuff like that, if their country went to shit, we bring it back. Well, the Taliban has already killed 10,000 that we know of. So, you know, it's the tragedy of Afghanistan. And I think that's how it feels with every vet.
I think that we have been one of the worst examples of the most atrocious letdown of any government towards any of their veterans across the globe.
And when it comes to letting down our vets, there may be no sadder example than Paralympian and 5-time world champion Christine Gauthier, a Canadian Forces veteran and one of the first women to ever serve in a combat role in Canada's military, who was injured in a fluke accident during training.
So when did the injury happen?
So it came on very early on, like my initial injury, I should say, came in training school, actually in Shiloh. We had to do the obstacle